Chronic back pain is so strange it can drive you crazy. There's no rhyme or reason, it just comes and goes as it wants. Sometimes you think a good night's sleep would help, only to wake up and find out that your back actually hurts more. Sometimes it hurts in the morning and then gets better as the day progresses. Other times it's the other way around. Sometimes activity makes it better, other times it makes it worse. And the worst part, no matter what you try, you can't win. It never fully goes away. Just like a cat you're trying to pet, you cannot catch it. It just does what it wants. Just like the IRS, you have to pay your dues and you can't escape it until the day you die. And just like a crazy girlfriend, you fear that it might haunt and stay with you forever. I struggled with this shifty problem for more than 10 years. When my back first started to hurt, it just appeared out of nowhere, out of the blue, totally unexpected. I had a lot of really bad episodes, lots of ruined days. Getting rid of it seemed impossible, but I slowly started to piece together an approach that seemed to be working. Progress was very slow and very painful until one day I realized my back didn't hurt anymore. In fact, I couldn't remember the last time it hurt. I'm not sure it's time to celebrate yet. I know how this problem is, and I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back at any moment. But I'm pretty confident I discovered the main patterns, I know how this problem works, and I have some understanding of why it's such a weird problem. We will go over the 5 main reasons why back pain is so annoyingly weird. The last one may be unbelievable to a lot of you, but I bet that for some of you, it will be the aha insight moment you've been searching for all along. Okay, let's do this. Reason number 1, chronic back pain doesn't exactly fit modern Western medicine. When I first injured my back, I tried pretty much everything that doctors would tell me. I went to general practitioners, neurologists, rheumatologists, orthopedicians, any type of doctor conceivable for back pain. They recommended a ton of different solutions and none of them really worked. I suggest you watch a video that's probably gonna appear somewhere around here about the things that I tried that doctors recommended that didn't work at all. These are conventional approaches, mostly drugs, topical remedies, physiotherapy, things of that sort. For some of you, they may be helpful or they may have at least some relief, but for a lot of you, you will find their effect to be very limited. It's almost like the entire Western medicine playbook on this issue is irrelevant in a way. And I believe that's probably the case because this is not exactly a typical disease that, you get it, you take the cure or the pill and you're healed. This is more actually like a lifestyle issue. We'll go over that in a minute. In fact, I believe most chronic conditions that happen to plague most modern societies today kind of fit into this description. They're not exactly typical diseases where you take the pill and you feel better. They require something more. They require a little bit of mindset shift, a little bit more discipline. And it sounds difficult for some reason for a lot of people, but trust me, if you have vicious back pain as I did, you will quickly find out that the sacrifice is minimal. Like the investment is so small compared to what you get in return. And once you see this relationship, this cause and effect between your lifestyle choices and the amount of pain you feel, especially in your back, but also in a lot of your other joints as well, you will quickly be able to make the right decisions. And number 2, related to the previous thing, the correct solutions are often what sounds like the wrong solutions. Like for example, you will be recommended a lot of pills, a lot of different drugs and painkillers, when in fact you would probably benefit a lot more if you focus on nutrition and what goes into your body. Chronic conditions have a strong relationship with food, especially with carbohydrates and things that cause inflammation in your body. In fact, everything that causes like an unhealthy rise in inflammation levels in your body, notably like stress and things of that nature, if you can reduce that, you will find that your back hurts a lot less. Also, doctors will typically recommend rest and sleep and a lot of inactivity, which can be good in some situations, especially if your injury is really fresh and really recent. I talk a lot about this in other videos as well, but that's only a temporary solution. After a few days, maybe 2 weeks tops, you should be looking to get back into your body and start moving again, start moving freely and using your body in a way that actually strengthens it and makes it more resilient. And one kind of general meta point about all the solutions involved in dealing with back pain is that Western medicine and doctors will always aim to heal the body predominantly. They will focus on mechanical problems, pretty much like you would maybe diagnose a car defect and try to solve it, when in fact, the right solutions will turn out to be something quite unexpected. There's a lot of mind body connection here. You will have to work on some issues, maybe. I talk a lot about this in my other videos as well. Feel free to check them out at any time. By the way, also check out my completely free book that I wrote on back pain. I talk a lot about stuff like this, what worked for me, what didn't work, based on my 10 years of experience dealing with this issue. I think you're going to find a lot of value there. And as you will see, some of the solutions are very unexpected. They're not exactly corporal. They don't have a ton to do they don't have a lot to do with your body. I don't entirely agree with this school of thought that's kind of been around, but I think never gained a lot of traction, of people and doctors especially claiming that the solution is only mind-based and emotion-based and psychological. I think there's a lot of truth in that, and sadly, those doctors and experts that go down this route, they are in the minority. I think they're like vastly overwhelmingly in the minority, which is why you don't hear a lot about these approaches to healing chronic back pain. But there's a ton of value in that school of thought. I believe that was the critical missing piece for me. Once I figured that out, once I started working on those issues and I cleared the most of them, my back pain like vanished, disappeared. And since then I've been pretty much pain-free for maybe 99% of the time. And number 3, which is something that we kind of mentioned, but nobody really talks about it in depth, nobody actually covers nutrition. For some reason, nutrition is a very hot button, controversial topic today in our society. On the surface of it, I think nobody would be surprised to know that the things you input in your body, especially like the foods, obviously they have like a very, very direct impact on everything in your life, especially when it comes to like pain. And for some reason, even though I talked to over a dozen doctors maybe over the course of my healing journey, none of them even mentioned anything about nutrition. What happened though is that I kind of had to lose some weight. As I said, I was recommended a lot of rest, a lot of sleep. I also was recommended not to be like too active and be very careful in my movements, which when you combine those two things, it results in weight gain, a lot of weight gain. I actually think I may have been like at around 45 or even 50% of body fat at one point. That was probably when I was at my heaviest. And of course, that was when my back hurt the most. And there is a mechanical reason for that. Like obviously, if you put more stress in form of gravity on a system, it's gonna be more, it's not gonna work as efficiently. So when you put on weight on your body, your spine has more work to do. Your muscles need to spend more energy keeping you upright and keeping your spine in a neutral position. But that's not even like the main point. A lot of it has to do with the type of foods you eat. And I've noticed this myself. Even when I'm not overweight, if I eat a lot of foods that rise my inflammation levels, my back starts hurting, even though I'm not exactly overweight at some points. Now, nutrition is somewhat personal, it's subjective. I can tell you what I eat that I think is the best anti-inflammatory diet, what I've found to work the best for me, and I think it's gonna work for a lot of you. In fact, I believe that's probably some sort of a general anti-inflammatory diet. Some people though, I think they respond better to a different type of diet. Me personally, I tend to be on the low carb end of things. I feel the best and my body operates most smoothly when I don't eat a lot of carbs. There is a possibility that the carbs on their own, maybe they're not that inflammatory. It's the combination of carbs and fats that's actually really bad for the body. I have nothing against that school of thought, but I wouldn't be surprised if carbs alone actually, they kind of tend to speed up your metabolism. Everything works kind of faster, with more energy expenditure. That results in a lot of like metabolic debris. There's a lot of leftover materials, which is inflammation actually. I talk a lot about this in my book. Again, it's free, check it out. The link should be in the pinned comment or description. Basically, what I eat and what I recommend is kind of like, a typical maybe keto day. I tend to eat similar or the same things most of the days. So it's usually eggs and yogurt or kefir for breakfast, meat, red meat, chicken, fish, whatever, maybe for lunch or dinner. I also like to eat a lot of almonds, hazelnuts, cashews, walnuts, stuff of that nature. As long as you're maintaining like some sort of a caloric balance so that you're not gaining a lot of weight, I think you're gonna find that your back hurts a lot less if you eat like that. And of course, like vegetables, I kind of have unlimited amount. I eat whatever vegetables I want. I do eat some fruit as well. I'm not as liberal with it, maybe one or two pieces a day. I'm not exactly like maybe full keto as a lot of people would try. I think that's actually that's also a good diet for back pain. And plus, you're gonna lose weight a lot faster. For me, it's like I don't think it's too sustainable to go to go with so little carbs for such a long period of time. But if you're looking to reduce your back pain the most you can, and even like lose some weight if you have to, I think kind of like a low carb keto approach is the right way to go. And even more importantly, this always plays well with intermittent fasting. And this is another key piece of the puzzle. If you can reduce the amount of meals you have, and if you can compress your meals in like a smaller time frame, I think your back is gonna be like, baby, thank you, this is beautiful. So this is quite an important point. Try to eat lower carbs, see what it does for your back pain. I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. Also try intermittent fasting. These things are not as hard as people make them to be. You only need like 2 or 3 days of adaptation, and after that it's gonna be like easy ride for the rest of like how long you wanna do the diet. And once your body gets adjusted, then you even maybe lose some weight, you're gonna see like your back pain diminishes. Reason number 4 is the root cause of your back pain is not what you may think it is. So when I hurt my back initially, I went to a ton of doctors. As I said, I got a lot of like different tests and checkups. I went into like the big, scary, cold MRI machine that did like all the movements and the weird sounds, and you know, I got the diagnosis like you have a herniated disc between L5 and L6 vertebrae. I think this is very common. Maybe like L4, L5 is more common, but something in that region is typically diagnosed for a lot of people with back pain. And of course, the doctors and a lot of other experts, even a lot of people on the internet, the general consensus among them is there's no cure for this. Like, you're gonna have to live with a degenerated disc for the rest of your life. You're probably gonna be in pain for the rest of your life. The best you can do is treat it, manage it, try to live around it, reduce it. And that would be like a life sentence if it were true. How do I know this is not true? Well, my back doesn't hurt anymore. And I guess technically I still have like the bad disc in there, right? That's incurable. So the only possible explanation for me is it's probably like the root cause doesn't really have anything to do or a lot to do with the bad disc, let's just say. And as I mentioned before, the root cause is often something entirely different. It can be something psychological, something emotional. I don't really want to use the word trauma lightly because I think that kind of gets overused. I mean, not a lot of us lost a body in the war, like we saw him like blown up into an explosion. So we're not exactly like traumatized, like PTSD traumatized, although some people are. You know, a lot of people actually go through very traumatic events, and probably healing for them is going to be even harder. But for a lot of us, you know, you've had maybe a lot of childhood difficulties, stuff like that. You need to work on those issues. You need to kind of resolve them. Trust me, that's going to really help you with your healing. And I know it sounds unrelated, it sounds random. I had a lot of trouble accepting this at first. Once I kind of gave into that, and to be fair, like I also did a lot of journaling. I kind of like psychology. I was always dabbling in those topics. Once I kind of started to work on this, and maybe let's just say like I think I kind of resolved a lot of these issues, my back pain like significantly reduced. I think it was probably I had like maybe 3 important like points of healing. The first 2 were nutrition and learning to get back into your body, learning to trust your body to be strong again. But the third and final one, which I think maybe a lot of people would benefit if they do it first, is actually resolving these issues. I think that's the only possible explanation. I probably still have the herniated disc, but the pain is gone. and the only relation I can see here is me working out these issues. And number 5, which is probably the weirdest point in this whole video, even though I kind of made quite a few weird points, I guess, is that you're supposed to learn a lesson from this pain. I hurt my back around 12 years ago. It's actually like exactly around this period, I believe. So it's been 12 long years for me. I was a very different person, let's just say, when I first injured my back. I wouldn't be surprised if you ask people who knew me back then and know me right now, if you ask them like which version do you think is the better, I'm pretty sure all of them are gonna say like current version is like 100 times better. Human beings, we learn things through pain. Oftentimes, pain is the only teacher that can teach us, especially if you maybe happen to have like like maybe a big ego, you're kind of like self-absorbed, maybe you have like some narcissistic tendencies. If that's the case for you, I'm kind of hesitant to say this, but I think back pain may actually be the best thing that ever happened to you. For me, it's definitely one of the, I would say, best things that happened to me. Of course, there's like a lot of silver lining here, but I don't think I would have learned a lot of the super critical, important lessons, like life lessons I learned through back pain because of it. Things like I became more disciplined, more stoic, I became more resilient, more accepting. I can work harder. I can understand people more. I have a lot more empathy. I'm more patient. It's like the list is, I would say, endless. I became like a totally different person. And of course, this is subjective. This is just my opinion on myself, but which is kind of like narcissistic in a way. But I think it holds it has a lot of weight because it's kind of true. I even notice it in like the interactions I have with people who've known me for a long time, and it's like I honestly believe this like whole journey of pain transformed me into a much better person. If nothing else, maybe I didn't have like such an intimate understanding of pain, and now obviously I do. And whenever like you're probably gonna notice this yourself. Like if you see another human being who's in pain, you're gonna like recognize the look in the eye, and that can be honestly like a beautiful thing. You can be more helpful to people, you can be more valuable to people, which is kind of what I'm trying to do with this channel. So you will learn important lessons from your pain, hopefully, and I think once you learn them, the pain will kind of like leave you alone. That's probably its entire reason of existence. My name is Mate from Real Deal Heal. Thanks for watching this like kind of out of the box video. Like it if you liked it, and share it with someone else you think might benefit from it. Subscribe to this channel and hit like the notification bell, because if you suffer from back pain, you're gonna benefit from these videos. Questions, feedback goes into the comments. Feel free to ask anything. I'll try to get to it all. Again, check the free book, completely free. I don't even I think I don't even like ask for your email. You can give it after you download the book if you want to subscribe to the newsletter thing. But I have a free book that's going to help you with your back pain. Also, I think at this time the app and the course should be published as well. So a back pain app, I think it's going to also have like a free tier. Definitely check it out. And if you want like a more personalized strategy, a more like intensive approach and more serious way of healing, definitely check out my course on back pain as well. And if for whatever reason you want to keep like binging on weird back pain videos, I think the next video that's gonna appear around here is probably gonna be a great choice. I'll see you there, and until next time, be brave.